All right, so let's say you came up with a great idea for your online lifestyle business, your Blaze. And let's do this thought exercise. Let's pretend you were applying to the top startup incubator in the world with this idea, which you wouldn't do, by the way, if you're starting a lifestyle business. But answering these questions and having good answers for it is critical, I think. So I'm going to ask myself these 27 questions from YCombinator's application and see what my answers are, and try to figure out what your answers would be for these specific questions. What is your company going to make? YCombinator asks. Explainer videos for startups. There you go. That's what Grumo Media does. Please tell us in one or two sentences about the most impressive thing other than this startup that each founder has built or achieved. They want to see, well, the value of the company, especially at very early stages, is not the idea of what they build, it's actually the people themselves. How do they have a record of building successful products in the past or something impressive? They really care about those things. Anyways, I impressed Alexis Ohanian and got 40 clients with a spec video in less than 30 days. All right, so that's my call to fame. I could maybe somehow impress somebody with that. Please tell us about the time you most successfully hacked some non-computer system to your advantage. Do you have a story for that? I do. I met my wife using a statistical approach that yielded 20 qualified dates in 60 days. And I actually have an online course called Hacking Online Dating, where I teach with the utmost detail on how I proceeded to conduct this experiment, basically using a sales funnel, which I call this funnel of love, and it was based in statistics, so I reached as many women as possible, and eventually go through a bunch of filters, so I could end up with 20 pre-qualified dates in 60 days, and from there I found my wife, which I'm still married, thank God, after 5 years. So I hacked something. Please tell us about an interesting project, preferably outside class of work, that two or more or created together, included URLs if possible. Yeah, I've created other products, worrypad.com. People can post their worries there, and people can cheer them up. And Ibiza, which is a YouTube video mixer for parties. How long have the founders known one another? How did you meet? Have any of the founders not married person? And I say más solo que la una, which means it's an Spanish expression that I've done this all by myself. Why did you pick this idea to work on? Do you have a domain expertise in your idea? How do you know people need what you're making? I have lots of video production experience, and I've already validated the idea. Obviously, I'm answering as a validated business, but what would you answer in here? What is your idea, and how would you answer this? Do you have domain expertise? How do you know people are doing this? Have you seen other people doing this? Let's say you're starting a podcasting company. Well, do you have any domain expertise doing this? Who are successful in this market of podcasting that you can follow? Like, for example, Entrepreneurs on Fire. And how could you differentiate yourself? What's new about what you're making? What substitutes do people resort? Okay, so if it's new, then you would explain what is new about it. What substitutes people currently resort to? They want to find out what your competitions are. Who are your competitors and who might be your competitors? Very important to understand. In my case, there's a bunch of other studios like Epifio, Demo Dax, Video, ThinkMojo. There's tons of explainer demo videos out there. What do you understand about your business that other companies just don't get? Quality is better than quantity of speed. So at Grumo Media, what differentiates us is that we don't focus, because this is my lifestyle choice, on creating tons of videos and grow. That's not my focus. My focus is doing little amount of videos, but make sure that I can devote as much energy to each client as possible, right? So I keep it small. That way I can follow up. I can oversee the whole operation and make sure that everything is working fine. If I was doing 100 animations a month, it would be impossible, and then I wouldn't have enough time to enjoy other things in life. I would be just paying attention to every single client. How do you or will make money? Well, we're really making $10,000 per video, and could make up to $5 million if I wanted, I guess. But I decided I don't want to make $5 million. I'm happy with less. If you already started working how long you've been working, how many go, and go. That doesn't apply if you're not coding. How far along your idea? Do you have a beta? Are you launched? How many users do you have? Do you have revenue? So how much? Very important questions. These people want to know these things. Do you have answers for these things? Like, do you have any kind of revenue? Do you have a demo? Do you have a website? Do you have a URL? How will you get users? These are questions that you need to ask yourself if to find your answers. How are you going to find users? What's your marketing strategy? How are you gonna? Is it gonna be just blogging? Are you gonna do Facebook ads? Are you gonna do a combination? Do you understand how to blog in order to get to rank high? Do you understand search engine optimization, SEO? Do you understand how to target, find the right keywords and target? There's so many questions that you need to answer. If you're already incorporated, when were you? Okay, so I incorporated in 2008 as a single shareholder. We found this. You see, a lot of these things wouldn't apply to you because you're not building a startup, right? But if you have you had any other ideas, please tell us something surprising or amusing thing that you've discovered. I discovered Wait But Why, which is a fantastic blog. There you go, a recommendation. You see, if you get anything about this, is really good recommendations for a blog. It's a little bit of a nerdy blog, but it talks about finds really interesting questions to finds really interesting answers to very interesting questions. Wait, but why? Which actually we animated one other post, which is called "Why Procrastinators Procrastinate." We animated that post. So anyway, this is just an exercise on asking. I think asking yourself a lot of questions and try to come up with answers. And if you find gaps in your answers, then try to save you, because actually doing this exercise doesn't take so much time, but it's really important that you do it on a frequently basis, because if you want to make sure that you have answers to most of these questions, specifically the questions I showed you before. These ones are specific to a startup incubator application, but they're very smart questions, because this incubator goes to thousands of applications. That what they had to do is to trial and error, figure out in the least amount of questions whether this startup was worth investing in and accepting into their program. So what that means is that these are very important questions to answer and to have the right answers for. So I encourage you to go ahead and take a look at them. You can actually type YCombinator application questions in Google, but I think I'm going to put a resource, a URL, where you can actually find all of these sheets, so you can copy and paste them and answer them yourself. There you go. Hey, did you enjoy this video? If you want to see more like this, just subscribe here. If you want a free gift, click here. Yeah. Which one is going to be the one you click?